Bachelor Nation. Thank you so much for joining us at Roses and Rosé Live. I have Wells Adams here. I am so glad you're here on the morning of the finale.
I know.
I mean, and you're not at all hungover, even though you went to a Dave Matthews Band concert last night. Guys, Wells is an absolute pro. He was the bartender all season long, so we get to ask him about last night's crazy episode where we had multiple traumatic breakups, I felt.
I know.
And we're going to tease the finale tonight. We have the Paradise finale footage. We have the tell-all. So much is happening as we wrap up the season of Bachelor in Paradise. Want to know what you think? Any questions or comments you have about the episodes or for Wells, leave them on our socials. Let's just dive right into all the drama. I want to start by saying, how upset was Sarah with Kendall breaking up with Joe? I saw this on Insta stories last night. Your girl, Sarah Hyland, was not happy that Kendall and Joe parted ways.
So the problem that Sarah now lives in is that she gets like all the behind the scenes stuff while we are filming. Yeah. I'm not really allowed to talk to anybody, but like you got to talk to somebody. Like,
sure.
And so when we were filming the show, she would call me and she'd be like, "What's going on?" And I'd be like, "Oh man." You don't even know with Kendall and Joe. So like she got to hear like a little bit of it. Now she watches it play out and she's like she knew how annoyed I was during the time, and then watching it back, she's like, "Oh, I get it now."
Well, it was such an out of left field, and I also felt hard to understand reasoning breakup. So when you're frustrated, when you're kind of seeing it all go down there, what was going through your mind? Were you confused? Like, why do you think that relationship ended?
I don't know. Like to me, it never seemed like Kendall was all in with Joe, and Joe was always 100% in. And he was so patient with her. And there were a couple of times when I wanted to shake him and be like, "Joe, I think the problem is that she doesn't feel challenged by you."
He needed to play a little more hard to get.
He had to. But I had a feeling that it was going to go down the way it did. I kind of wish it went down the other way, where you know, Joe was just like he never gets mad. The only time he got really mad was with Leo, you know?
And even then, I was like, it's not like he really changed or raised the volume of his voice. I think Joe's a pretty even guy.
But I do love Joe.
I do too.
And that's the thing, like, Sarah, I don't think she's really mad at Kendall.
Right.
I think she's mad at the situation.
Why?
Because everyone loves Joe so much, you know?
So much. And it's been good to see him. I did not think The Bachelorette was the environment for him. He kind of got lost in the mix. But Paradise, where it's a little more chill, where there's more time, because he's not a super talkative guy. I mean, I feel like on Bachelor and Bachelorette, you really have to put yourself out there. Yeah. But on Paradise, you can like chill and chat more. And it seemed like a better place for Joe.
But here's the thing. The reason why I love Joe so much is there's a lot of people that walk into that place and sit at my bar, and for lack of a better term, like they're not there for the right reasons. They're like, I want to be on TV. I want to say some stupid stuff so I get a lot of airtime.
Are people saying this, or are you getting this vibe?
I just get the vibe.
Yeah,
okay. You know? Like Leo was a good example of that. He like came in there and he was like wanting to mix it up because he
starting stuff.
Yeah, and it was like, this is so inauthentic, you know? And I think people watch the show and they're like, that person's not real, because you can like see that inauthenticity, like it just bleeds through the screen. And Joe is the most authentic, being like, I don't know if I should be here. I'm going to go home now. You know, like everyone could like relate to him, because that's how everyone would be in that situation if you were just like a normal person walking in there.
Yeah.
Not like someone being like, I'm going to say some crazy things, like swoop my hair over and like get a bunch of airtime. So that's why I love Joe. He was like the most real guy there. And that's why I like really wanted him to be the Bachelor. Because I think it would be like a really authentic experience, because he really probably shouldn't be the Bachelor, you know?
Interesting.
He would be great.
I loved everybody rallying behind Joe to be the Bachelor, because it was like this guy from night one, and it was such a fun story.
Yeah.
But I will say, having interviewed him, and I noticed a big difference when I interviewed him at Men Tell All versus interviewing him after the Paradise Tell All, he was a lot more comfortable. That's what I wondered with him being Bachelor. I'm like, is he comfortable enough to literally like, as the lead, you have to talk so much, talk out your feelings, and I wondered, would we get enough from him? Because we experienced with Ari what it's like when someone doesn't have a lot to say. So that's all I would say for Joe, is I almost thought it's like you need a few more seasons of reality TV under your belt, because even the lead usually has a whole season of Bachelor, Bachelorette to get used to being on camera. Joe had one night. Yeah. So if he'd gone from that to Bachelor, he would have been like deer in the headlights, I thought.
He got good at doing it at the end of Paradise.
Yes.
Like I will say, like in the beginning, we were all like, dude, you got to talk. Like you got to say something.
Yeah.
And then he got better at it. But like, I don't like the idea of like a seasoned vet. Like you need to be really good at reality TV, because then comes across as almost like acting, you know?
I know, but then with Ari, it was like he hadn't been on TV for so long, and
Yeah.
I felt that hurt him because he just literally wasn't used to the environment, and so even if he was having authentic feelings, we weren't like seeing and hearing them as much.
I mean,
We're really digging into this.
That whole thing was just a dumpster fire. Let's just be honest.
That was a trash pile, set ablaze, rocketed into space,
Yes, it
and
was bad.
exploded. Yep, it was bad. Comments coming in. Debbie says Joe is too good for Kendall. I don't know if I feel that way.
I think Joe is too good for everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's how I feel about Joe.
Well, guys, by the way, we have an exclusive sneak peek of tonight's episode up at etonline.com right now. Kendall visiting Joe. So we have to see what happens because I do not think that this love story is completely over. There's a clip up on our website. You can go check it out. She actually goes and visits him after filming the show ended. What could you tease for us about that?
I don't know.
Oh.
So you know more than I do.
Oh, I guess I do.
Because after the show ended, like I didn't talk to them, you know?
Okay.
I didn't even talk to Joe that night. When he left, I was really upset. 'Cause
Really?
I really liked Joe and like wanted to hang out with him. And when he just left and didn't say goodbye to anybody, I was like, what a jerk.
Do you think
But
he was
then I
just
realized
that
that.
upset? Yeah.
I think he was upset, yeah. I understood, but I was like, where's my hug, you know?
We gotta hug the bartenders, please.
Yeah. Like,
Tip your bartenders.
I don't get any tips. Like, at least give me a hug,
Tip
dude.
them with affection. Well, you mentioned Leo, and I want to ask you about that because it was really wild to see Leo on Paradise versus Leo on The Bachelorette. Because on Bachelorette, he was kind of this like funny aside guy,
Yeah.
and then on Paradise, I mean, I will say I watched it, and I think sometimes, tell me how you feel, but I think sometimes people go on the show, and like you said, they're there to like stir stuff up, and then the way they come across on screen is insane, or everybody's like, he's acting nuts. I felt like he was just trying to create. Like, he's an actor. He has an IMDb page. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he was acting, and I don't think he's going to get a lot of work in this town because I don't think he was doing a very good job of it. It was just weird. Like, the whole thing came across as just odd.
Yeah.
And they cut a lot of stuff, actually. Like, there was this one day, I think they showed it, like, where Kevin and Astrid, like, he, like, made a wooden TV, and they, like,
cute.
Netflixed and chilled and watched the sunset. Like, they cut this thing where, like, Leo went over there and, like, grabbed the TV and, like, threw it in the sand and was like, snitches don't get to watch TV. And we were all like, what are you doing?
Bizarre.
Like, what is this? And I don't know. Like, the whole thing was just super forced. And I don't know. Like, the one thing that, like, it never ceases to amaze me that, like, the macho guy usually isn't the winner in the Bachelor world. And I think that, like, that guy has always been an alpha, and he's probably never lost at anything. And then, like, going on that show and kind of looking like an idiot, I think his ego was bruised, and then he didn't know what to do. It was like fight or flight, and then he just, like, went off the rails, and, like, that was it. But, like, losing out to a guy like Joe, who's, like, such a sweet guy, I'm sure he's like, I don't get it. I don't get what this whole thing is. How am I losing to like a grocery store guy?
Yeah,
you know?
like I'm Jason Momoa lookalike.
Yeah.
Like, interesting. Well, I did wonder in that situation, and I don't know how much you want to say or can tell me, but look, of course, we all know, like, this is a reality show, it's produced. I wondered how much are producers encouraging Leo to act like this? How much is he acting on his own? Because when the fight happened, you kind of saw the fourth wall got broken a little bit. You saw the producers rush in and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, how much you think that was Leo on his own and what everybody's reaction to was when that fight happened.
Yeah, I will defend the producers to, like, the end of the earth. I think it's so easy to be like, oh, it's edited that way, or like they told him to do that. There's not a whole lot of that. Like, the edit or the producing.
And well, I will say, I don't even mind if there is some of that. Like, you've got a producer's TV show.
Yeah,
you know, like,
I know, but like, the editing and the producing of that show happens just like with the scenarios that people are put into. If you put a guy like that and a guy like Joe in the same room together and like they're fighting over one girl, like there's going to be something. It's just natural. I don't think they were like, hey, Leo, go be a weirdo and like freak everyone out.
Yeah.
Like that was never the thing.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about the fight though, they edited it a little bit to not how I remember it. I remember Leo said that, called him grocery store. Yeah. And then Joe got upset and Joe was like, say it to my face. And he said it again, and then Joe pushes him. And I think that was the moment when Leo realized, oh, this isn't like, this is real. And then he was just like, ah! Like that's what he did. And it was like, oh my God. Like he all of a sudden became like not 6'5" and like Jason Momoa, but like, oh God, this is a real thing. And that's when Eddie, the producer, who like played football at Cal, like came in and tackled him. And we were all like, Eddie! Yes!
And was he just ushered right out? Nobody said goodbyes to Leo or anything?
I don't know. It
Yeah.
was so
It's
weird.
chaotic
It
and
was
weird.
so odd.
Well, I remember when I was watching it and he said, say it to my face, I felt like Leo was even surprised by that because he kind of like said it really quickly, like grocery
Yeah.
store. And it was like he didn't know how to, he didn't really own saying it to his face as
Yeah.
much as he maybe could have. Yeah.
And the one thing
Interesting.
I will say, like, Leo is a big dude, but Joe's a big guy too.
Yeah.
Like,
He's tall.
really tall. I don't know if you noticed, his hands are like banana hands. They're huge. So I remember, like, when that happened, I was like, I'd watch this fight. I'd pay for this on pay-per-view.
I mean, do you think that Kendall's feelings for Leo were that legit, or was she just sort of freaked out by the seriousness of Joe and kind of scrambling?
Like they had talked before the show, from what I understood.
Her and Leo.
Yeah.
I got that vibe, and I wondered because she kept saying that Leo seemed like a more realistic fit. Like literally, he lives in LA and she lives in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like, in Kendall's defense, everyone talks before the show. And as you should, if you're going to go, like, because the odds of really finding someone to get engaged are pretty small if you don't know anybody. So if you have the opportunity to, like, kind of feel people out beforehand, then I think it's a good idea, and it helps.
Expedite the process.
Totally, right? Like, it is 28 days. It's quick. And they cut this one short. That's like a little thing that people don't realize. But
Filming short, you mean? There was a
yeah,
filming?
it was like we stopped early. We were supposed to, like, that's why in that episode when Chris comes in, he's like, fantasy suits tomorrow. Everyone's like, what?
It seemed quick.
Yeah, because we all thought we were gonna do like a whole nother week, and I don't know if it was because they had enough stuff or because they just wanted to keep everyone on their toes. But everyone was expecting it to be a little bit longer. But, like, you know, people do talk beforehand, and I think that she had a conversation with Leo and was like, oh yeah, this could work in the real world. And then it could not work.
It did not work.
No.
No.
And it was terrible.
Interesting. So in that being kind of cut short, how do you think did that really like bring things to light? Would things have been different if there was another week?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the one thing that you have to expect every week is that you don't know what to expect, you know? Like
Robbie Hayes might come in at the last freaking minute.
I mean, like, let's be real. Like, that was purely for Robbie and Jordan.
I mean, wow.
It had to happen. So, yeah, I think you're right. Like, I think it screwed with people's minds and timelines. I think that probably really messed with Kevin and Astrid. I think that Kevin probably wanted another week and didn't get it and kind of, like, freaked out.
Well, let's dig into that one because that was going to be next. I felt like it really was an episode of, oh my God, these people are breaking up, and maybe the shortening of it all is kind of helping us understand it. Kevin, when he said, I'm 80%, I'm 20%, and then were you blown away that happened in the moment?
I was interviewed, I don't know, by some outlet, but like before the season started, and I was like, there's one breakup that, like, I couldn't believe happened and, like, affected me, like, on a personal level, because they were like the Derek and Taylor of last season, where, like, they got no airtime because they were so boring because they were so perfect for each other, you know. And when that happened, I obviously wasn't on the beach when they broke up, so watching it back, I was the exact same way when I heard about it. That Astrid was, which is like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what are you talking about?
What's happening?
How did this happen? And I don't know. And also in my mind, I'm thinking, like, what are you doing? This is the hottest chick you are ever going to get.
Oh, gorgeous.
Ever.
I've interviewed her before. She's so grounded, so normal, smart, like super cool.
Yeah, I love Astrid, and I was just like, what is going on? And I think that was a huge mistake. And I think in Kevin's defense, due to suffering like Bachelor PTSD.
It's like a lot's happened for him.
You know, like
Ashley gets engaged there.
Right in front of his eyes.
Uh-huh.
And then like he was on Bachelor Canada and he like got engaged there. And so I think that
he did bring that up, like you have to understand where I'm coming from, and this has happened to me. Yeah, Bachelor PTSD, BTSD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Bachelor Traumatic Stress Disorder. I mean, do you think, or did you get to talk to either of them right after that breakup? Did you get the sense? I felt like Kendall had a kind of an immediate sense of confusion and regret in the limo.
Yeah.
With Kevin and Astrid, what were they like right after? Did you say your goodbyes to them?
I don't even remember now.
You're like, I was too traumatized.
I talked to them like after the show, like because Astrid and I were friends from before. Astrid was supposed to be on Paradise like last season, and she was just like she was just hurt. And I think she was just like, what happened? Like, Wells, you know more than most of the people there. Like, what happened? And I was like, honestly, everyone was just like, what is going on? Like, I think everyone assumed that was like Fantasy Suite #1 couple.
Especially because he'd said some things at certain points like, I'm 34, I know what I want. He's not like a 24-year-old that you get sometimes where, I mean, even though he's been through a lot, I think that has also hopefully helped him know what he wants. But I also will say that, they're both going to be at the tell-all, so you're going to see some stuff happen tonight, you guys. Wells has a very good analysis of the macho male in a bachelor environment, Laura says. Victoria, we did want to ask you this, so we'll get to your question here, Victoria. She says, what do you think of Colton as the new bachelor?
I think that he will be a really good bachelor.
Agree. But tell me why. What makes a good bachelor for you?
Well, I think you got to be able to cry. That's why they didn't.
He hath proven.
Yeah, that's why I was over the Bachelor. They're like, this kid never cries. I think that he will be.
Wait, is that really why? Were you asked?
No.
Okay. We were so close. We were about to sign the contract, and they were like, "Cry right now."
Cry. Can you do it? Here's some Visine. Will that help? I think he'll be a really good bachelor. I think that maybe a V card will be dropped in a fantasy suite, which I'm like for the first time ever think that's pretty great. I think that Middle America will love him. He's such like a good
former football player, good looking, started a charity.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of dog pics on Instagram. Yeah. So I think he'll be great. To be honest with you, I think of the 3 guys that everyone was talking about, I think he is the best option.
So I'm kind of reading between the lines what you're saying, which I agree with. You think he's the best option to make a good TV show?
Yes.
I agree.
And and also remember what the TV show is supposed to do. You're supposed to basically get a marriage out of the thing. I think that I don't really know the 2 other dudes, but I do know Colton, and I think he really does want to find that person, and I think he really does want to settle down and have kids and stuff. And so I think you'll get that out of him more so than maybe the 2 other guys.
Okay, interesting. I will say, I think Jason was a little older, which made me think he's ready, and Blake is very emotional, which made me think he's ready. But I just think this was not a year for me where, I felt like last year people were really upset it wasn't Peter.
Yeah.
With Colton, Jason, and Blake, I kind of felt like I'd be okay with any of them, and I think Colton has. I mean, how do you pass up the first ever Virgin Bachelor?
I know. No, he's not the first ever.
Well, Sean Lowe was a born again.
Oh, he was?
He was. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not real. That's
Stopped
not a
at
thing.
24, waiting till marriage. Colton is
He's a
gold,
real one.
gold
Yeah,
standard.
Yeah. Listen, I think that I think Colton will be an amazing bachelor. I really do.
Well, we're excited. I agree. Okay. Sammy says, what do you think of Chris? Wow, Sammy, are you enlightening me here? Did Chris Harrison introduce Angela and Clay outside of Paradise? Is that how they ended up together?
I don't know. I just saw it on.
And they're together, which is great.
Yeah, they look really cute.
It's a very sexy couple. I'm in.
I didn't understand that between her and Eric. It was
very
just weird.
confusing.
Yeah.
I think that Eric is. As much as I think he's a mature guy and a good friend, I think Eric is not ready for a relationship. I don't think he knows what he wants. That was very confusing reasoning to me.
There are people that are really good at giving you advice, but are terrible at
taking their own advice. I always say
and
this.
he is that guy.
Yes.
He's
he's like a sounding board for everyone else.
Yeah, he's always he's that inspirational Instagram guy that is so annoying, but you're right.
But you're I
Him
get it.
And Bibiana, they're the exact same person.
And they can call you out on your own stuff, but then it's they're struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you're giving such good advice, but you're just not taking it.
Maybe Eric and Bibiana together, you guys. I don't know.
I don't hate that.
Right? Not a bad idea. They're both we're trying to figure ourselves out, and we can advise each other actually on our own relationship, and we're gonna make it work. I love Bibiana. I know I want something for her too. Okay. Real quick. Annalise and Camille, can I just get your read on Annalise? She was in here, and I think she is so sweet, but man, I gotta use the word delusional. She seems not grounded in where her head's at in this relationship and in her awareness of where his head is at in this relationship.
Yeah, it's a little cringeworthy to watch.
Yeah.
In Annalise's defense, Camille is leading her on.
Is he?
I think so.
Hard for me to tell. He's very monotone.
He is he's a great guy, so boring.
I'm what's behind the eyes? I can't get a read here. Okay.
Yeah, I think I don't know. You saw last night where he was talking to the guys, and he was like, "I really don't know."
So do you think he's a great guy? You just said great guy. Is he a great guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Let's backtrack on that just a touch, maybe.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
I said he was boring.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if he's. God, I think that he was leading her on,
Okay.
and I do think she is delusional, but I think that her beliefs are rooted in a little bit of truth. Like, he is saying the right things to her, and he had so many outs, and he didn't take them, and I don't know what the real reason was. Is it like, I want to actually get engaged? I don't know if I believe that. Do I just want to like stick around on TV as long as I possibly can? I kind of believe that.
And what's the motivation there? I have to imagine that everybody's not getting that great of a day rate. I don't know. It's not like we're. It can't
Especially
be a huge
the bartender,
paycheck.
all right?
But what is it if when you do say, like you said, there are people who come and they're like they want to be on TV, or maybe they want to stick around. Is it, I hope I get more followers. I don't think it's the money. Like, is it a desire for fame?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a combination of all those things.
Okay.
It's also a free vacation.
Oh, true.
And so, like, once you kind of like get settled into like the cameras like just following you around, or like you let those things dissolve from your reality, then it's just like a free vacation with like really good food and like funny people. And I think that was like one of the reasons like I want to go be the bartender, is because it's so much fun just to like experience all of it.
Summer camp, kind of.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
adult summer camp.
There we go. All right, Bachelor in Paradise summer camp. I have a really big bone to pick with Robbie Hayes showing up last night. You know what? Here's what I'll say. I have loved this season, and I think it's way better than last season, and I don't blame anyone for that. It was hard to rebound from what we'd come from. But I love a couple things. Like, one, I feel like the women are enjoying themselves, and I love a couple of guys who are really invested. Like, Jordan and Joe are so all in, and I love watching them.
Yes.
And I love that everybody's like, hey, we're all just here to have fun for the most part. But there have been a lot of really late arrivals that at this point in the game are feeling disingenuous to me. Like, I get what you're saying, Robbie and Jordan, we wanted to see that, but like,
we needed to see
but I didn't need Robbie to even say I'm here to find somebody. Like, when people are saying I love you and about to go to the fantasy suites, and then Robbie shows up, like, it felt very, I don't know.
It's a weird glitch in the show, because you got to keep bringing people on, but at that time it's just like really late in the game. There's like nothing you can really do. So I think that the best thing to do is like lean towards the comedy of it, and having Robbie and Jordan meet and have like the walk off and all that kind of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
That's like the only way to play it, I guess. But Robbie almost didn't show up. He missed his flight to get there.
That tracks for Robbie.
Yeah.
If you've watched these shows, you know he's supposed to have been here a couple times and he's missed it.
yeah.
That tracks. Okay.
I'm not sure. I do love Robbie. I don't know if I've ever like gone to an event or had to be somewhere where he has made his flight.
Okay, got
He's
it.
always
He's
missing
that
it.
guy.
Like, he is that guy.
Okay.
And I'm always like, man, you gotta pay that change fee. You know, like it's almost like $200. Like, really, dude? Like, make your flight. So yeah, he was late, like a day late. So we were supposed to get more of the Robbie Jordan thing, I think. And I remember the producers being like,
Robbie. Once again, Robbie.
got us again.
Oh, book him Southwest next time.
Yeah.
No change fees. Kathy says, yes, Kevin and Astrid needed more time. That's what was missing. And she believes that they could work outside of Paradise. Well, again, the tell-all is tonight, you guys, mixed in with the fantasy footage and fantasy suites footage, and you gonna see. Very critical question. Chris Harrison has worn a jacket so many times this season, and I don't understand it. How it's so hot there. How is he wearing these jackets at the rose ceremonies? I don't think he sweats.
Yeah, I don't know if he does. I'm not sure if he's human.
Superhuman.
He might be. He is a superhero. He also like he's the king of Bachelor, right?
Yeah.
And so like he gets like walked in like on like one of those like carrying thrones, and he's like being fanned by
it's Leo and Joe and Kevin
yes,
carrying
exactly.
it.
With, like no shirts on, and then all the girls are fanning him with like olive branches and stuff.
Robbie was supposed to be carrying it, but he missed his flight.
He missed his flight.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like you have to remember he sits like backstage or whatever you want to call it, like in like an air-conditioned room, and then when they need him, they're like, put on your jacket, hit your mark, say like, this is the final rose of the night, cash your check, go home. Like that.
I
That's
have
it.
to say, I wanted more Chris Harrison sit-downs. I liked
Yeah.
them on Winter Games. Like, I liked that sit-down with him and Ben. I wanted a Chris Harrison-Annalise sit-down because I felt he really could have dug in there. I wanted to see it.
I know, and like I wish that they like. Chris is always upset that like the lack of Chris on the show, and I can now relate to it because I got cut out of the show a lot too.
Did you?
And there was a moment where Chris and I had like a good conversation, and I was like, "This would be really funny if they show like me making him a drink and like
Yeah.
because he always like kind of like makes fun of me like in like a big brother type of way, you know." But like he like liked the drink for the first time this year, and
You're getting better.
I'm getting better at my job. So yeah, I agree with you. We need more Chris Harrison.
I would
Daddy Harrison.
also love, you know what, just moments like that. Like, there was one episode of Paradise last week that was 3 hours that kind of felt too long to me, but I would watch like a behind the scenes special, like a quick
Yeah.
little like fun moments you missed. I'd watch that. Like, I like the bloopers for that reason.
My only complaint, if I was
Tell me.
in the edit bay, is they burn a lot of time on retelling the story, and
It's
you're
like,
like,
we're with you.
guys, listen,
We've been watching.
We know what's going on. All
We
right,
got it.
We don't need like 7 people explaining what happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Which and the normal people always end up being those people. Like Astrid did a lot of retelling this season. Like, I'm like, because she's like grounded and normal.
Jordan as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jordan.
I do too. Like, I think it's so funny that people think. I think that the perception of him was that he was a villain, like going into it.
He was on the edge of villain for me. Like, I don't think that Corinne was a villain. I think that Corinne was like kooky, but she didn't say mean things about people. And Jordan really didn't say mean things about people. But I see what you're saying. He was on the edge of villain.
Yeah, people. I
Yeah.
mean, that's. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like he
Okay.
was that guy.
Uh-huh.
He was supposed to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they thought Leo was that guy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, like, he does say like wacky things, but for the most part, everyone just loves him.
Yeah.
And I was really happy. Like you get to see his transformation and like falling in love with Jenna, and
Oh
it's
my
like the
gosh.
cutest, sweetest thing in the world.
My heart. It's like, and then you've kind of seen him and Joe form this bromance. And Jordan told me, like, well, yeah, we were the guys who were really all in
Yeah.
on these girls. And like, they kept going on dates and we're just like talking to each other and kind of bonding. And you have really seen him, just be like, when he was comforting Jenna just because she felt insecure, I was like, wow, this is like a very vulnerable, I'm really just here to support you moment. It was real cute.
He's good.
Yeah.
Listen, if Jordan's anything, he's weirdly really good with words, you know?
Oh, I don't even know where he comes up with this.
I think he goes to bed thinking of like one-liners. Like I think he has like a little diary and he's like,
Plugging that one.
this will be good tomorrow.
A couple bartender questions for you, Wells the bartender. You did get better at making drinks this season. Did you have a signature Wells cocktail?
Okay, so I went and took bartending class.
This is a man.
I'm
He
dedicated
went to
my
night
craft.
school.
I mean, I got bartending when I was in college, but like that's just
That's a
Bud
Wells
Lights and-
drink. A well.
yeah,
Yep.
Wells liquor.
You never heard that pun.
2 off Wells. Yeah. So I went and took a class this year because I was like, I want to learn like all the crazy fruity drinks that like would be perfect for Paradise.
Mexico. Mhm.
Yeah. And so I learned all of them. I spent all this money on this freaking bartending class, and
Tax write-off, I hope.
yeah, I know, right? And then I get there, and people only drink the same drink, which is tequila, soda, splash of pine.
100%.
That's it. Because everyone is terrified of sugars and carbs and like anything that
Yeah.
makes their abs not be perfect. So I was like that's another reason why I love Joe. Joe is the only guy who's like, I want a beer. And I was like, thank God, a normal human.
Just like pina colada. Everybody else, tequila water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that what I did have, everyone really liked the Jorge special. That was the drink that Jorge taught me last
Oh.
year. I made that a lot. And then I think tequila sunrises were a thing.
It's all tequila in Paradise, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well, you're in
mean,
Mexico.
yeah.
By the way, so many people, our social team was just telling me, so many people are saying that they missed you and they missed your insights. So more of Wells
Yeah.
on Paradise, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I might be done with
Are you
the show.
done?
I might
You wouldn't
be.
do it another season? Why not?
I don't know. I mean, I probably will. to be honest with you.
That
but
was
like,
such a 180.
well, it was supposed to be like the idea was that I was supposed to be training someone to take over. Like that was
Was the idea that Yuki was going to
well.
take
So
over?
we realized pretty early that like that was never going to be a possibility.
Truly, I get the joke of she can't speak English, but
Yeah.
she's now spent a fair amount of time in the States and around English-speaking people. She has to be able to speak more English than we're seeing on TV. Like, even at the end of the
It's-
season, it was like, love. I'm like, she
Yeah.
knows more.
It's one or the other. Either she's
Okay.
completely fluent in English and she's just like the best con in the world,
Wow.
or yeah, she just doesn't know. I don't know if she cares to learn.
Interesting. Okay.
Like,
She's like, this is working for me.
yeah,
Okay.
like this shtick is good.
Okay, so it was supposed to be that you were training Yuki.
Yeah,
Realized that wasn't gonna work.
yeah. I think we realized pretty early that like there would just be like a lot of wrong orders. You know,
Sure.
burn a lot of tequila. So yeah. So who knows what's gonna happen next year?
How much time are you actually on the beach behind the bar versus like you get to go, maybe not sit in a Chris Harrison trailer, but you get to
Yeah.
go off the beach for a little
I'm
bit?
there a lot.
Okay.
Like and they were really nice this year about being like, you can go home if you want. But I was like, what? I didn't come to Mexico to like.
Sit in my hotel room alone.
Yeah, exactly. I want
And
to.
you're like, these are my friends.
Yeah, and like I also want to like see what happens.
Yeah.
Because it's I'm watching the show. I'm just watching it live. You know. So I was there a long time, but a lot of times they'd be like, hey, we don't need you until like 3. So so I'd go in at 3, and then if I came in the afternoon, that meant I was there until like 4 in the morning or 2, like really late.
Interesting.
And then if I was there in the morning, then I'd usually bail around like 6 or 7. So it was usually like between an 8 and a 10-hour day.
That's interesting to me to hear till 4 in the morning, because I actually was thinking about this season. I felt we had a lot of daylight footage. Like, I
Yeah.
feel in the past we've had maybe some more nighttime moments, some more like night vision in the bed moments, and we didn't have as much this season. Was this season like big on love but small on hookups?
I think there were a lot of hookups.
Why aren't we seeing them?
I think that they had so much stuff. Like, that was one thing that I do remember people talking about, being like, there's so much content. And especially compared to last year where we had to like rush to finish the
Really
show
had
in 10
nothing.
days. Yeah.
A lot of scallops talk last
Yeah,
season.
exactly. Puppets made it in the edit. Like, no one thought that was going to be a thing. I think they had so much content and not enough like hours of TV to like put it on. Like, we did like this whole Spanish quiz for a date that they cut completely.
Wow.
There was a bunch of stuff.
Can I
like,
say? I'm glad.
Yeah, it was actually really funny.
Okay.
I talked to like Alon, like the executive producer, and I was like, "What happened?" Because it was really, really funny. Because the guy who won it was Jordan, the Kiwi, who
Oh.
doesn't know any Spanish.
Wow.
So like, of course, that like all the dumb Americans.
I was gonna say he's from another country and they're more well versed in just
Yeah.
knowing other languages. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how he.
So what did
gets-
Alon? You talked to Alon and he said,
He was like, I know, I can't believe they cut it either. I was like, I'm hoping. He said, I'm hoping that we can put it like on the internet or something.
Yeah.
Because it was really, really fun. I'm sorry if like I spoiled it if it ever
that
comes
it's
out. but,
okay.
like,
Now we're excited for it.
yeah, like him winning, it was really. And that's how he got the date with Cassandra, like on the beach and stuff.
There were even moments where, like, when Jubilee was sent home, it was sort of like at the top of the episode, we just got some flashback footage of like, so Jubilee left this morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're not even seeing all the exits.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of good stuff.
So much stuff.
Did Jubilee, like, was her exit just, I don't know, not?
She had like a whole about face where she was like really excited to be there, and then all of a sudden it was like, I gotta go, gotta get out of here.
okay, bye.
And so we were like, okay.
A lot of you
Bye.
guys are saying Jordan and Joe are your favorites. I agree. And so many people saying they wanted more of Wells and Yuki. Okay. We have to wrap up here, but I got to dig in to your life outside of Paradise, which I have to say, though, that your real life seems pretty great lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's like paradise.
I mean, you've been living in LA for about a month now.
Yep.
Moved in with your lovely girlfriend, Sarah Hyland. I don't even, it's like, how happy are you guys? Like, literally last night, she takes you to see Dave Matthews. We're watching you guys watch Paradise on Instagram. If you haven't seen it, there is a moment that will melt your heart where Sarah is reviewing the show and Wells reaches over and fixes her hair. And my heart just, I like, how happy are you?
Well, in the defense of that one thing, we were a bit overserved last night.
That's why I said, Wells, I'll have some water for you here today. Maybe a loaf of bread.
I'm so happy. Like, it's just so fun. Like, it's like that Garth Brooks song, you know, like it's the thing, like that you think you want something and then you don't get it, but it's not really what you needed, you know. And they did these crazy shows, and then all of a sudden, like, I get this amazing relationship out of it. Like, I could have never imagined that was like the path I was gonna go down. But like, I'm so grateful for all of it. Like, Chris Harrison, that's one thing that you guys missed, was that I walk down the stairs and I meet Chris, and Chris is like, "You're welcome for your girlfriend," and it's so true, you know. Like, if I hadn't done the show and met Chris and all those people, like, I would have never had the opportunity to like meet this amazing woman. So I won the show. Let's be fair, you know.
I'm like dude, I'm glad you moved in together and lock it down. Just because this is like.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
I know.
Put the ring on the finger and just lock that in and never let it go because she's so freaking awesome.
She is awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, though, I know you guys like know I feel like you guys are you've always told me you're like, just the same goofy person and you know each other so well. But in moving in together, you certainly maybe like have you learned anything new about her, or have you been like, oh, you load the dishwasher different than me? Like, what are you seeing about each other?
Like I saw an interview she did where she was like, Wells is more anal than I am about cleaning, which is very, very true. Yeah, like she'll like wash a dish and like leave it in the sink, and I'll be like, it's so close to the dishwasher. Why didn't you just do the one more step? But no, actually, it's been weirdly perfect. Like there's been no real issues. We were all scared about the dogs meeting because that's a weird thing and they're big dogs, and that went really well. Yeah, it's been perfect. It's been great.
Can I ask you how you know, like when you found someone who's this amazing enough for you to move across the country? Like what about Sarah makes you know, I'm getting in a truck and moving across the country for this girl. This is special.
It's so funny. Sunday will be our 1-year anniversary of the day we met. And we were talking about it today when I was watching the end of the episode because we passed out before we finished it.
Went to see Dave Matthews.
We went to see Dave Matthews and we're overserved. And Jordan said this thing. He was like, the moment I saw you, like I knew. And I was like, that was the same for me. Like the moment, like I met you that day, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be it. So it was the night before the Emmy party, and that was the day that I knew that I had to move to LA.
This is gonna be it. Like she's the one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
I love this so much because I remember meeting you at JoJo Fletcher's Firehouse date where you'd been overheated so much that you almost passed out, and like what a journey you hath been on in the words of the show. So she's the one. I love it. Last question for you. I guess if you know it and like you guys are in this, what would you tell other people about like kind of what to look for in a relationship? What have you learned about what makes your relationship work?
I think especially for me, you need to be ready for that. You know, I think that it's so easy, and if you watch The Bachelor, people are like, I'm really ready to like, you're not really ready. You're 24 years old, you know? And I think that there came a point in my life where I was like, I really do want like this. I don't want to be single anymore. This isn't fun for me. I think you have to be emotionally ready for that, and I think that's number one. And then I think you just need to find like the person that complements you the best. And Sarah's that for me because we're both like huge dorks. We have similar interests. Like our brands are the same, right? Like dogs, rosé, tacos.
Getting drunk and watching The Bachelor and reviewing it. Would you, I know she's a fan, and here's the thing, like we saw Ashley and Jared get engaged. How much of a fan is she? Like, would you like propose to her on reality TV?
No.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
No.
Okay. You're like, we're not going down that road.
No.
Have you talked about a timeline? Like, how long you gonna live together before you take things to the next level?
I don't know. Gotta wait and see.
Wow. Tomorrow on Instagram Live. And of course, you know, you have so much going on between your bartending duties and your dog caring duties, but your podcast, you're still doing that while you're out here in LA? Like, what's gonna happen with all that?
Yeah, I still work for iHeart, doing the shows that I did in Nashville, just out here. Still doing a podcast with Brandy, Your Favorite Thing. I think I might do another podcast with a different reality TV show.
Which one?
TBA. It's a show that was very popular and then went away and now is coming back.
Jersey Shore, The Hills.
I don't know.
Okay.
Gotta wait and see. So that might happen, and then who knows what else is going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing. Well, from the heat of the Firehouse date to the heat of Mexico, and like, here's your life, man. It's awesome.
I know.
Love having you in. Thank you so much for your insight. This was so perfect for the in-between finale episodes morning. Guys, if you don't follow Wells on social, man, are you missing some fun drunken nights that end with in and out between him and Sarah.
Yeah.
So absolutely do it. And thank you guys so much for watching with us all season long. Tonight is the final episode of this wonderful 5th season of Bachelor in Paradise. And it's going to be crazy, the tell-all stuff. I was at the taping, you guys. It's nuts.
I got to do something that I never got to do before.
What?
Which was I got to watch the maybe engagements, maybe not engagements, and I got to hear it this year. Like they let me listen.
You mean like during filming?
Yes. Because Yuki and I got to watch and we're like, it was like really beautiful, right? There's one moment where I actually cried.
This is the one time I've actually cried in The Bachelor. It's a really, really good moment that's going to happen tonight.
We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to talk to you off camera because I actually cried, and I
Yeah.
wonder if it was the same moment.
I probably was.
Because I have to say, like, I don't. As much as I love these shows, I don't cry watching them,
Yeah.
and wow. Okay, this hit us hard, guys. So watch tonight. And everybody, we will have a new episode of Roses and Rosé recap up for you tomorrow morning. And as always, just keep sending your comments in. Laura says, OMG, Wells and Sarah are so cute with 5 O's. Agree. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you. Bye.